I don't ask for a lot. Tonight my head is so high, the thought of waiting for blessings, your blessings. I'm wide awake tonight. Everything else falls away. Hold your blessings up to my face. Everything else falls away. Hold your blessings up to my face.
Now, WTBS presents the following short feature for your entertainment.
From the ground up, beginning at the base of the Brooks Range Mountains, it's an ever-changing adventure. Peaceful, perilous, breathtaking. 600 miles down the Noatak River. Experience the wonder. Travel through Alaska in kayaks.
Until now, the Brooks Range had been scarcely explored, only mapped from the air. Only a few inland Eskimo, and now and then, a few mad gold prospectors. Otherwise, few had braved the mountains. The living conditions in these mountainous wastes are simply too harsh. The problem is not how to live, but how to survive. Skillfully, Tony landed the small aircraft on a flat gravel bank by the Noatak. The wheels making deep ruts in the shingle. We had arrived at our destination and the start of a long kayak trip. From now on, we could not rely on outside help, but we were, so we thought, well prepared. We had good equipment with us and the experience of many expeditions. Tony marked our position on the map. According to that, we had a river distance of almost 400 miles before us. 400 miles through uninhabited wilderness. However, we were to be mistaken. Our map was not accurate enough, and it didn't tell us how things can change. In the end, we had not 400, but over 600 miles to paddle, always worrying if our provisions would last. Really mad. We, who for generations have lived with technical progress, suddenly need to return to the elements. Our pilot, whose parents still live the life of Stone Age people, hunts in an aeroplane and has lost all association with the Eskimo kayak. But what we were doing interests him a lot. An inflatable kayak is, after all, not to be seen every day north of the Arctic Circle. For us, it was our only means of emerging from the great wilderness again. Now we were alone in the wilderness. The noise of Tony's aircraft died away quickly. Soon there was only a soft hum to be heard, then silence, both welcome and at the same time frightening. So, friends, here's to a good journey, the last drink of beer for weeks. It became cool, but we enjoyed the dry, fresh air. Final preparations. We assembled the kayak, stowed the provisions, the sleeping bags, and everything we needed to live under an open sky. Fred discovered some moose antlers. This discovery contradicts the claim of zoologists that moose are not found as far north as the Brooks Range. Only a few animals, relative to the size of the country, live north of the Arctic Circle. The harsh climate has restricted the number of animals and plant life. Certainly, some 700,000 caribou pass through the tundra each summer. Yet you can travel the region for years without catching sight of one of the large herds. Caribou are very well equipped for their harsh environment. They're protected by means of an exceptionally thick pelt, and their broad hooves carry them over bog and soft snow. With each stroke of the paddle, we plunge deeper into the wilderness, into its peacefulness, into the unknown. The cramp, which the pressure of time, and the irritability which city life had produced, fall away from us. We didn't think of that at all. Glass clear, the Noatak flows through the mountains. No fish to be seen, only the shadows of our canoes hurrying over the gravel riverbed. Framework close to the bank. A few feet away, a prospector's pan, a pickaxe, and on the ground, an arrow marker wrapped in silver paper. The abandoned camp of a gold prospector. The frame served as a simple sleeping place. In the surroundings are scattered strips of an inflatable boat and other bits of equipment. Not to be missed, the emergency sign known throughout Alaska. Seek me in this direction. He who wishes to come out of this wilderness on foot would have had little chance of survival. Some days later, we discovered a second camp and met a highly unusual prospector. He had neither fingers nor teeth. Jim Joyner. From him we learned that the other gold prospector, who'd had himself flown in with provisions and an inflatable boat 2 years ago, has never been seen again. It's still possible today to buy a claim, to stake out a quarter of a mile of land. The high price of gold again makes prospecting a rewarding job. Jim seemed to be one of the dedicated gold prospectors, one possessed. He too had the constant fear in the back of his mind that a bear might attack him. He also came to feel the relentless harshness of the region when he had to make an emergency landing in the tundra. His hands and feet froze during the 40-mile walk back at 40 degrees below zero.
I bring a girl up. We go put up big stakes, but everybody red flag on them to see that it's my ground. But I have a big...
Jim seems to have found a profitable site. In each pan, a few grains glint. Hopefully, he will bring his small fortune home. He was horrified that we were traveling without weapons. He said he wouldn't spend a single night here without a weapon. Day after day, we paddled on glass-clear water, gradually losing sense of time. There is no night. If the sun should disappear behind the mountains, it can always be seen just above the horizon before it climbs up high again. Evening and midday differ only a little. There is no shortage of camping sites. Mostly, we didn't put up a tent, preferring to bivouac on a sandbank within range of our boats. But since we had seen the shredded inflatable boat, we no longer left our canoes out of sight. How little one missed civilization here. At last, we had space. At midnight, you can cast your fishing line. And there are hundreds of crystal clear brooks to offer you drinking water. Today, for the first time, we managed to supplement our meager rations. After almost every cast, a trout wiggled on the hook. Sometimes trout sizzled on our barbecue. Sometimes it was salmon. Mostly we sat for 10 hours daily in our kayaks, when even dry bread would taste good. How much better the first fresh no-attack salmon. Law of nature, cycle of life. The larger eats the smaller, the stronger the weaker. In the wilderness, man certainly is not always the larger or the stronger. Large bear tracks remind us of this. Almost every sandbank carries the mark of the predator, which seems to be present everywhere, and which one nevertheless hardly ever sees. And when you meet a grizzly face to face in the open, you forget photography. You merely look on spellbound with a feeling of curiosity and fear. Usually, however, the bear is frightened of man and takes flight if he smells or hears one. For hours, the Arctic sunset, which doesn't seem to end. Who then wants to crawl into a tent? Frequently, our camp was on a hard gravel bank. Here we were plagued less by midges than in the tundra, and we had a better field of view in case of attack. But our bear also lies down in his sleeping bag, his skin. A sleeping bear offers a picture of complete relaxation. Mostly he lies down in places where the airstream will warn of any intrusion. Full from a meal of caribou, he has something left over, so we hoped that he would have no appetite for us. The night passed without disturbance, but a fresh wolf track made it clear to us once more that here the wilderness reaches, so to speak, into the bedroom. Fred quickly caught a few trout. That would spare us another meal of cereal. Then we dipped our paddles into the no-attack again for many more hours.
Roll through the roughest when Alaska continues.
Brought to you in part by the State of Alaska Division of Tourism.
Before you try anything new on an Alaska Airlines flight, we try it first.
Too spicy? Too spicy. Too spicy. More? More? Too far. Too far? Too far. Too far. Still too spicy? Still too spicy. Still too spicy. Louder? Louder. Louder. Louder? Louder. Louder. Too loud. Too loud. Too loud.
Why does Alaska Airlines go to all this trouble? So you won't have to.
Next time you rent a car anywhere in the world, be sure to use Gold MasterCard, and you'll automatically be protected with Master Rental, the best car rental insurance any card offers. Should anything happen, we'll take care of you, pay for it, handle the paperwork. All you do is make one easy phone call anytime. That's simpler and better than American Express. Master Rental, from the world's #1 gold card, Gold MasterCard.
She moves, she fast, she close as you dare. You're in the pink with Bikini Bear.
Lee presents 2 great ways to shave a woman's sensitive skin: Bikini Bear Shaving Cream and Bikini Bear Shaving Gel.
Fragrance made for a woman.
Even on sensitive skin, blades just glide as hair is swept away with Bikini Bear. Made with expensive silk protein, designed to leave a woman's skin smoother, softer. Bikini Bear Shaving Cream or Gel.
You're in the pink with Bikini Bear.
We love our children at all ages, from all places. Unfortunately, some kids aren't loved. Kids like these, they're abused, they're battered, they're driven into the streets. Some become prostitutes, drug addicts, alcoholics. And today, kids like these are statistics because today they're dead. Covenant House helps with food, clothing, sanctuary, and most of all, someone to talk to. Call our 9 line, 1-800-999-9999.
One of the more common jobs in the world is walking 2, 3, 4 hours a day to fetch wood and water. And it's commonly a woman's job. On World Monitor tonight, women, Africa's exploited resource. And from Washington, the cowboy broadcaster senator. I'm John Hart. Join us for World Monitor tonight.
Maybe Alaska isn't all igloos and ice. Maybe the governor likes it up there.
Oh, Drexel, that's ridiculous.
I know one thing. He went up there to find out why tourists that should be coming here are going there, and he hadn't come back.
You know, I should be getting back for that range meeting.
Governor, I just canceled it.
Well, good.
Alaska.
We now return to the Discovery Channel's Alaska Celebration.
Even at midnight, rainbows can be seen in the sky, and the wide region looks as though it has been dipped in purple. And when the silvery light plays on the parched grasses, it seems as though time and eternity have merged together. In the tundra, the ground is permanently frozen. This permafrost determines the nature of the wilderness. It impedes water drainage and limits the type of plant growth. Here, the ground is frozen to a foot below the surface. That wasn't always so. This fossilized leaf proves this, and even more, the large oil reserves in the Arctic. The south of Alaska has considerably more water resources than the north. Here, an annual rainfall of about 100 inches is recorded. On the Noatak, on the other hand, only 50 to 75 inches. The considerable amounts of rain and snow which fall in the south and the moderating effect of the Japan current result in a humid, relatively mild climate. Dense forests with mighty hemlock pines stretch over wide areas, traversed by beautiful torrents. The 6 Mile River flows only a 2-hour car ride from Anchorage. It flows out near the old gold digger town of Hope into Cook Inlet. The riverbed of the 6 Mile contains much gold. During the 20s, hundreds of prospectors worked its banks. Many human tragedies must have been played out here. Attempts to penetrate the impassable canyons with canoes nearly always ended fatally. However, for the trained whitewater canoeist, they pose no problems. In the lower reaches, the 6 Mile River becomes increasingly difficult. It forces itself between narrow banking. It's annoying that we could no longer film precisely this degree of difficulty. Thick clouds of mist, which came from the nearby sea, killed the light. The Copper River is a glacial river. It rises in the Alaska Range and breaks through the glacier region of the Chugach Mountains shortly before flowing into the Gulf of Alaska. At its upper reach, a road still runs along the river, but from here on, one can proceed only with a boat. We had to accustom ourselves to bear tracks and the possibility of coming face to face with a grizzly. That's part of the Alaska experience. We sensed how unprotected, how exposed man is in the wilderness. That gives all experiences with the wilderness an added attraction. We ate salmon almost every day. Hubert, our third man on the Copper River, never got to like it. According to the motto, "The peasant will not eat what he does not know," he preferred to keep to his woodcutter's omelets. Hubert's omelets didn't look bad, but fresh salmon. When would we eat that again? The life by day and night in the open air. We perform such simple activities as making a fire or washing ourselves in the ice-cold river. Contact with large and small things without being shut off by glass and metal. All that brought deep contentment. And one day, long after we have left the region, we will notice how dear, how familiar the region has become to us. The waters of the Copper River are sandy gray. Here in its lower reaches, large glaciers still enter the river. There is, above all, the Miles Glacier, which comes from the largest glacial region of Alaska, of more than 1,200 square miles. In the distance, the landscape can barely be seen, but when one approaches its break-off point, looks up at the 600-foot-high ice wall, hears its groaning and creaking, one is reminded that here, different scales apply. The kayak offers the very best opportunity to get to know this region, to gain completely new experiences. More than 10,000 rivers and streams provide 375,000 miles of unobstructed waterways into which you can dip your canoe paddle. At the bridge, which collapsed during the 1964 earthquake, one is reminded for the first time of a road. But the road only runs a few miles from here at Cordova and ends at the river. In Cordova, the kayak journey on the Copper River ended. And since the road ends at Cordova, it's best to take the ferry to reach Anchorage again. The journey on the Noatak isn't as rich in change as on the Copper River. Instead, there is the grandiose impression of sheer, limitless solitude. You can believe you are traveling into the past, seeing the world as it once was 1,000,000 years ago. The journey on the Noatak was almost finished, and so were our provisions. We hadn't caught any fish for days. The reason? Nearly all the salmon had already spawned and lay dead in the river. After 14 days, during which we had dipped our paddles into the water about 1,000,000 times, we reached the Eskimo settlement at Noatak. A crowd of happy children received us with shrieks. And here in Noatak, our long journey came to an end. We were again making contact with the civilized world. We too returned enriched. In the only vehicle in the place, which was brought here over the frozen tundra in winter, we drove to the nearby airstrip. How long will this region be able to preserve its remote beauty? Oil has already begun to alter the wilderness of Alaska. The construction of the 800-mile pipeline is only the beginning. Alaska must unlock its buried treasure to be able to make use of it. But this must not occur at the expense of destroying other treasures. Otherwise, the pictures we've seen will soon belong to the past. Dr. Wheaton, an Alaskan, says, "The world must not surrender all its secrets. It still needs undiscovered horizons, uninhabited regions where wolves hunt. Man should still be able to find a place where he can stand under the shimmering northern lights, silent, in awe, before the enormity, before the cold, before the stillness. Above all, modern society would have to prove that it's capable of maintaining a balanced coexistence between the blessings of technology and of nature, and of living in it."
Coming up on Alaska's 30th anniversary celebration, a cable exclusive. 20 years ago, the largest oil discovery in North America sparked an engineering wonder, an environmental nightmare, and a challenge that would test the toughest of women and men. Travel 800 of the most ambitious and controversial miles in the world. the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline.
The year was 1968. From a distant Alaska outpost known as Prudhoe Bay came word of a monumental find, a colossal oil field dwarfing any previous discovery on the North American continent. But there was a problem. How to get the oil out? How to move it thousands of miles south to markets and refineries? Many imaginative solutions were considered, but nothing was so safe and efficient as a pipeline. A pioneer pipeline through an unsurveyed wilderness, requiring finished pipe of higher quality than ever previously employed in oil pipelines. Scrupulous on-site studies were made by teams of scientists over each of several pipeline route variations. In the process, archaeologists unearthed over 20,000 artifacts, documenting important cultural information about early man in Alaska. Based on all of these studies and surveys, the final corridor of the pipeline was selected. Beginning at Prudhoe Bay, the route would follow the Sagavaniriktok River and Adigan Valley to the Brooks Mountain Range. There it would climb to 4,800 feet through Adigan Pass, the highest point along the route. Down the south slope, through 2 more valleys, and over the hills in Muskeg to the Yukon River. Then, south of the Yukon, the route passes 10 miles east of Fairbanks and turns south to zigzag across the Denali earthquake fault. The corridor makes another climb over Isabel Pass in the Alaska Mountain Range and drops down into the Copper River Basin. Up and over the broad Chugach Range to Thompson Pass. Then a plunge to the valley floor along Sheep Creek. And up along the south wall through Keystone Canyon, across the tidal flats, and on to the terminal site overlooking Port Valdez. "29 locations for temporary construction camps. 799 miles in all." As the first pipe began arriving from Japan, pre-construction mobilization had reached an urgent pace. Thousands of tons of supplies were moving north. Then, as suddenly as the rush began, it stopped. 3 vital questions demanded to be answered. Who owned this land called Alaska? How should it best be used? How could it be protected? The decision would have an impact on thousands of human beings in Alaska itself and involve the economic structure of a nation. The Great Pipeline Project froze to a near standstill, awaiting the outcome of heated debates, which echoed from the streets of Nome to the Capitol in Washington. It wasn't the giants, the mountains and rivers, or the 3 million lakes which presented pipeline designers with their toughest challenge. Here, under a soft, flowering vegetation known as tundra, is the permafrost. During the long summer days, this thin mantle of growth warms up, allowing its veneer of plant life to blossom. Yet, only inches below the surface, the ground remains permanently frozen. Experience has shown that disturbing the tundra blanket, thus allowing heat to melt the permafrost, can inflict open wounds which require decades to heal. The engineering response was 78,000 vertical steel columns that would elevate more than 400 miles of the pipe above the frozen soil. And where needed, heat exchange devices would be installed in these columns to keep the ground around them from thawing. Zigzagging would give the pipe flexibility to meet the temperature changes and earth tremors. The other 380 miles could be conventionally buried, except for a few places where refrigeration lines would keep the soil stable. Ultimately, the issues of land ownership, structural safety, and environmental integrity were resolved in the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Authorization Act of November 16, 1973.
Secretary of the Interior, Rogers Morton, issued the official construction permit. After 5 years, 2 months, and 19 days of lying frozen in limbo, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Project again sprang to life. The call went out worldwide to construction contractors, labor halls and suppliers, welders, pipe layers, craftsmen. An army of young adventurers and old-timers converged on staging points in Alaska. By fall of 1974, workers had nearly completed Alaska's first highway north of the Yukon River. 360 miles of gravel, as much as 6 feet thick. A separate work pad was constructed along the pipeline right-of-way with insulation planks under the gravel to protect critical permafrost areas. Over this highway, the stream of supplies quickly reached flood stage. 600 tons of parts and supplies. 6,000 tons of bridge material. 10 million gallons of fuel. 15,000 trucks. The length of the pipeline was divided into 5 sections, each with its own contractors and managers. 29 construction camps from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez, each a complete life support system for survival in the wilderness, with modular buildings for housing, food, and administration. In less than a year, men, equipment, and supplies were in place. Construction of the line could begin. At the height of construction, more than 20,000 workers would be on the job, implementing the most advanced pipeline construction technology in the world. At the heart of it all was the actual welding of the pipe, end to end, 799 miles. Special equipment allowed travel within the pipe for weld inspection or repair. An assembly line process. Never in history was a pipeline more closely regulated or thoroughly inspected for welding quality. The welding passes were checked by quality control inspectors, quality assurance, federal and state inspectors, with a radiographic film report on each weld. Now and then, the project even attracted the attention of local inspectors, more concerned with quality food assurance than with progress on the line.
Okay, get on out of here. Go on. Go on now.
Moving mountains when Alaska continues.
Join the Discovery Channel in a state of celebration when Alaska turns 30.
Honey, it can't look that bad. How bad is it?
No one can afford a bad perm, but now you can afford a great one at the styling salon at JCPenney.
That bad.
Come, discover all of Alaska. Travel with West Tours. West Tours is Alaska.
Save up to $600 per couple when you book by January 31st. West Tours is a Holland America line company.
In just 1 week, I lost enough weight to actually see the difference.
The Slim Fast Pledge. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight. Each Slim Fast shake is a delicious, nutritious, low-calorie meal.
1 week and the weight was gone.
Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
This itchy rash needs special treatment. Maximum strength cortisone 5, with the medicine doctors recommend most, gets under the itch for soothing relief and help in healing. See? The rash is gone. Use cortisone 5 with the medicine doctors recommend most.
I can't really rely on Aspir Cream.
Joan McKee suffers from minor muscle pain.
Rub it in here, rub it in good. Aspir Cream relieves pain fast. And it's odorless, so you won't smell like a medicine cabinet.
Aspir Cream, fast pain relief without aspirin or odor.
First, there were liquids, then tablets. Today, there's Tempo, a better way to get antacid relief. Better because it's soft and chewy, and just one Tempo has the antacid power of almost 2 of the leading tablets. Tempo, a better way to get antacid relief.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way.
The power to wake up young minds. Teachers have that power. Reach for it. We're recruiting young teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
This man is using the magic of his ancestors. He uses their magic to call the shark, to trap the shark, and to kill the shark, all with his bare hands. Meet the Shark Callers of Kontur. Saturday night at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
When you have trouble falling asleep, take the sleeping aid ingredient that's the doctor's choice, the one in Sleepinol. In a survey, 7 out of 10 doctors chose the sleeping aid in Sleepinol. Sleepinol contains the doctor's choice to fall asleep fast.
Dexatrim's amazing. I lost weight without being hungry, and that never happened before.
Just one Dexatrim controls your appetite all day, and it's caffeine-free.
With Dexatrim, I wasn't hungry, I lost weight, and I feel great.
We now return to the Discovery Channel's Alaska Celebration.
While work on the pipeline continued, construction proceeded at the 12 pump station sites. Designed for an ultimate capacity of 2 million barrels per day, powerful aircraft-type jet engines drive 2 massive pumps with a third on standby. Miles of intricate wiring and sophisticated computers direct all internal operations and link each pump station to the monitoring and control facilities at the terminal in Valdez.
Bert, could you give me discharge first, please?
A 1,000-acre fortress built on bedrock. The terminal is where the pipeline ends and the marine transportation system begins. From high above the ice-free fjord of Valdez, the oil is gravity-fed through a computer-controlled system of mammoth storage tanks, metering buildings, and miles of underground pipe to loading berths located at sea level. Every step of the way, specially designed treatment facilities have been installed to carefully control the possibility of air or water pollution. At the heart of the entire pipeline system is the Operations Control Center. 2 identical complex computer systems are designed to scan 200 data signals and 1,400 status and alarm signals every 10 seconds, 24 hours a day. Here at the Yukon River, at the Tanana, the Koyukuk, the Gulkena, and 800 other river and stream crossings, dynamic forces such as these did not stop the pipeline. It was just another engineering problem, and there was a variety of solutions. The long, cold, notorious night of winter in Alaska was, of course, the real hardship of pipeline work. In the northernmost latitudes, the sun disappears into total darkness for almost 3 months in winter. Though their work is often slow and tedious, people can still function in these icy conditions.
You know, Alaska's got some of the most rugged terrain in the world. It also has some of the worst environmental and weather conditions in the world. It's not unusual to get down to minus 45, minus 50, minus 60 degrees in wintertime. We had from 500 to 700 men working 24 hours a day in Alaskan Pass under some extremely difficult working conditions. Snowfall, very low temperatures, high winds, heavy drifting conditions, and very deep ditches in here. There was no real alternative to finishing Alaskan Pass in 1976 because of the very heavy runoff here in the springtime. It was necessary to completely finish the work and get the pipeline completely protected by burying the pipeline. The basic reason why the pipeline is buried is to protect the pipeline from snow avalanches. One of the real unique features in Alaskan Pass is the fact that the pipe is encased in an insulated box, and it's necessary to put it in an insulated box deeply buried to prevent the thawing out of the ice-rich silts that surround the pipeline. Once we're out of the pass, there's no longer any danger of avalanches, and we're able to move the pipe up out of the ground. Now, most of the above-ground pipeline is built by working off of a work pad, a gravel work pad. But there's a 5-mile length of line in here where, because of problems in finding enough gravel, we decided to build a pipeline off of a snow pad. So we built a 2-foot thick snow pad in here by making snow, hauling the snow and placing it, compacting it, and then building the pipeline off of the snow pad. All in all, some extremely difficult working conditions. It was done, though, with there's an awful lot of esprit de corps. The people involved in building this part of the line knew it was one of the more difficult parts of the line, and I think that, coupled with the fact that they wanted to go home for Christmas, enabled us to get the thing done before the 1st of December.
No change required except for those in heavy loads.
And for a good copy. Thank you much. KWJ63, Chandeleur, clear. Current weather at Chandeleur. Temperature is 0. Winds are calm. Visibility is 15 miles. Road conditions, Alaskan Pass and Chandeleur Shelf are both in good winter driving condition. Entertainment scheduled for this evening at Chandeleur. On television at 7 o'clock, NBC News. 7:30, Starskin Hut. 8:30, Bicentennial Hall of Fame, Valley Forge. Tonight, for your special entertainment, anyone interested in getting together and playing, listening, or even singing some folk rock tunes, drop by the Chandeleur Theater. Performers from the electrical, plumbing, and laborers' unions will be there. Maybe even the Teamsters. Sorry.
The individual rooms generally accommodated 2 workers and came furnished with bed, desk, and wardrobe. But there were a few maverick interior decorators who managed to set up all the comforts of home.
I've worked out in the Gulf, overseas in the jungles, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Nothing to compare to this. They've no mountain like Thompson Pass. This is a granddaddy.
Human beings have often pictured themselves as doing battle with the elements, but seldom has that image become so real and so personal as it did just a few miles from Valdez. The place is called Thompson Pass, and it was something to remember. Dropping over 1,800 feet at angles nearing 45 degrees, this treacherous incline of wet, rotten rock and glacial mud and silt was to become one of the most challenging obstacles to pipeline technology in history. Because of the excessive steepness, side booms were useless. and a unique cableway system had to be designed to fly the 10-ton pipe sections to each area being worked on.
Snow, wind, rain, anything, sleet, anything you could imagine. It's been the thawing of the ground, and letting the boulders come at you. Yeah, every day you had the danger of the rock hitting you or the pipe getting loose and coming down on you. It's the most dangerous job I've ever seen, pipeline. Before we got these stirrups made up to weld off of, we had to hang by a safety belt. You had to hang right on top and weld with the safety belt holding you. That's all you had to hold you with the safety belt, nothing else. I felt like I was trying to wash the windows on the Empire State Building. Everybody seemed to be concerned about each other, so that really made it nice, too. They were real cool, and that's the kind of people that made it.
Indeed, it was the people who made the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. It was flesh and blood that nursed monster machines through the incredible cold of the tundra, threaded pipe through avalanche areas in Nagoon Pass, dug ditches under icy rivers, and hoisted 10-ton tubes of steel over dizzy peaks where only mountain climbers had ventured before.
Not till we made the last whale, or the last 2 days, you felt safe. I'd like to say this, too, that I think the Lord had something to do with us coming up and nothing bad happening. He looked after us. If they lay another, they better not go over Thompson Pass, or I won't be there.
There may or may not be another job to match the great Trans-Alaska oil pipeline. But for the men and women who worked it, it is enough to say for now that they did the job well. All 799 unforgettable miles of it. And they did it on time.
The Discovery Channel, Join us in a state of celebration on the Discovery Channel.
When Alaska's 30th anniversary celebration continues, why climb such a mountain? Considered the coldest peak in the world, it is constantly swept by Arctic winds and completely surrounded by ice fields and glaciers. It is also a place of untold beauty, isolation, and mystery. Join 4 men who wage a personal battle against nature. Conquer the giant Denali.
George Lee Mallory perhaps explained it best sometime before he disappeared near the summit of Mount Everest in 1924.
The first question you will ask is, what is the use of climbing such a mountain? And my answer must be, it is no use. There is not the slightest prospect of gain. We shall not bring back a single bit of gold or silver, not a gem, nor any coal or iron. We shall not find a foot of earth that can be planted with crops to raise food. It is no use. So if you cannot understand that there is something in man which responds to the challenge of this mountain and goes out to meet it, that the struggle is the struggle of life itself, upward and forever upward, then you won't see why we go. What we get from this is adventure and just sheer joy. And joy is, after all, the end of life.
While Alaska's Denali is not Mount Everest, it is the highest mountain in North America, rising 20,320 feet above sea level. It is surrounded by one of the largest isolated landmasses in the world. Located only 130 miles from the head of Cook Inlet, it receives the full force of all coastal storms which pass its way, and is considered by many to be the coldest mountain in the world. Denali is the Indian name meaning the Great One. Today, most people refer to it as Mount McKinley. One does not come lightly to such a mountain. He must be thoroughly prepared, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Year-round snowfall down to 4,000 feet, crevasse-filled glaciers on all sides, and weather that can change from sunshine to Arctic storm within 20 minutes help to maintain Denali's isolation, its beauty, and its mystery. The landing site is located just outside the park boundary at 7,000 feet on the east fork of the Kahiltna Glacier. From here, the West Buttress route extends 20 miles and rises 13,000 vertical feet to the summit. The climbers must take everything necessary to deal with any conceivable situation. A flaw in planning could ultimately cost the climbers their lives. Once the plane leaves, they will be alone, left to their own resources. There is plenty to do. A base camp must be established. The tents are placed near a permanent ice cave in which a two-way radio is stored. The radio will be used to signal the pilot when the climb is completed. In addition, supplies are cached should they have to sit out a storm, waiting for the weather to clear and the plane's return. In the ice cave, conversation centers around moving the equipment and supplies. Since all of it cannot be carried in one load, most of the food and fuel will be moved up as high as possible and cached. The climbers will then return to camp. The following day, weather permitting, the remaining equipment and supplies will be moved up and the next camp will be established. In case of severe weather, the plan is to sit out the storm on half rations. Above all, shelter, food, warmth, and medical supplies must be within reach at all times. The Kahiltna Glacier appears gentle and safe, but fragile snow bridges hide many dangerous crevasses. In 1967, an unroped climber disappeared into a crevasse and froze to death before he was found. To avoid this danger, the climbers roped together and used 3-foot-long bamboo wands to mark a safe trail across the glacier. By late afternoon, everyone is looking forward to unloading their packs and skiing back to camp. The first food and fuel cache is established about 4 miles and 600 vertical feet from the base camp. The climbers remain roped while skiing and stay close to the bamboo wands marking the trail. Upon returning, their first concern is melting snow for water to cook the evening meal. The food had been packaged in 5-gallon tins several weeks before and sent by boat to Alaska. Since the tins were not marked, anticipation grew as each new tin was opened. During the evening meal, the lunch rations are distributed and the breakfast food is set out to be ready for an early start. Each climber must sleep with 2 bottles of water, his clothes, gloves, and inner boots to keep them from freezing. The emergency bivouac bags are used for dragging 15 to 20 pounds of the lightweight equipment across the low-angle slopes of the Kahiltna Glacier. This provides enough room in the packs to move the camp up in one load and substantially reduces the weight of the packs. As the steepness increases, climbing skins are attached to the skis. At the day's end, or in case of poor weather, the skins can easily be removed, allowing a rapid return to camp. If they had used snowshoes instead of skis, almost as much time would be needed to return to camp as was needed to carry loads that day. A clear understanding of Denali's weather can prove of great value. The weather follows 2 markedly different patterns. One, a succession of coastal storms which pass over the peak. The other, weather generated by the great mountain itself. The lower half or 2/3 of the mountain may be climbed under almost any condition if one is willing to put up with a certain amount of discomfort. On the other hand, any movement above 13,000 feet depends on good or at least reasonable weather. Few parties have experienced long spells of clear, calm skies in the Alaska Range. This kind of adventure demands hard and exhausting work. The rewards vary from man to man, but a few of them are common to all. The run back down at the end of the day, getting to know the men on whom you rely and whose lives are entrusted to you, and most important of all, the privilege of knowing the mountain. Stormy weather has delayed the climb for 2 days. The morning of the 6th day begins cold and clear. From Camp 2 at 9,800 feet, the climbers leave the gentle slopes of the Kahiltna Glacier, and the steeper climbing begins. They will try to reach the plateau just below the west buttress at 12,200 feet. The going is slow, and fresh snow makes it difficult to break trail. Each climber takes his turn in the lead. It's not long before hard work and the warmth of the sun begin to take effect. Close regulation of body temperature is very important. If too many clothes are worn while working, the climbers will perspire excessively and become susceptible to the cold when they stop. On the other hand, wearing too few clothes will cause loss of valuable energy trying to stay warm. So each climber takes off and puts on layers of clothing to regulate his body temperature. Approaching the 12,000-foot level and the plateau where Camp 3 will be established, everyone is near exhaustion, but it is the end of the day's work. It is still a bright, beautiful day, and the prospect of the downhill run helps to renew their energy.
Coming up, the longest ski run in the world.
Brought to you in part by Alaska Airlines.
Say, champ, what are you doing? You two know each other? Huh? You want to so don't you sit right.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
How you doing there, Romeo?
Don't you wish everybody did?
Would you two rather be alone?
Ricola, the all-natural herb cough drop imported from Switzerland. Ricola has been soothing throats and relieving coughs naturally for over 60 years.
What's the most beautiful island in the world? Some say it's in the north, exquisitely scenic. Some say it's to the south, breathtakingly spectacular. Both have so many beautiful things to see and do, with beautiful people, too. But the real beauty is, both islands are in one country, New Zealand, the two most beautiful islands in the world. For your free packet of beautiful information, call 800-848-2200.
What a weekend. The whole family came visiting. I took pictures of relatives I didn't even know I had. Now, with all these relatives, I needed great developing, so I looked for the Kodak Color Watch seal. She uses the Kodak system to check the developing for great color. And she puts every print on Kodak paper. The Kodak Color Watch system. You're going to thank me for it. And so will my cousin, or... this looks like somebody just walked in.
I can really rely on Aspir Cream.
Joan McKee suffers from minor muscle pain.
Rub it in here, rub it in good. Aspir Cream relieves pain fast. And it's odorless, so you won't smell like a medicine cabinet.
Aspir Cream, fast pain relief without aspirin or odor.
First, there were liquids, then tablets. Today, there's Tempo, a better way to get antacid relief. Better because it's soft and chewy, and just one Tempo has the antacid power of almost 2 of the leading tablets. Tempo, a better way to get antacid relief.
The inventor of the automobile has had more influence on society than the combined exploits of Napoleon, Genghis Khan, and Julius Caesar. This week, an American album investigates America's love affair with the automobile. A maze of over 100 of the world's most rare and beautiful cars with the classic car. Tonight at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Before you try anything new on an Alaska Airlines flight, we try it first.
Too spicy? Too spicy. Too spicy. More? More. 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 Too
far, too far, too far, too far. Still too spicy?
Still too spicy.
Still too spicy. Louder, 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 louder. Too loud, too loud, too loud.
Why does Alaska Airlines go to all this trouble? So you won't have to.
Welcome back to Discovery's Alaska Celebration.
Two days have passed since the ski descent back to Camp 2. One day was spent regaining the ground and establishing Camp 3 at the foot of the West Buttress. Another day passed carrying loads around Windy Corner and building a snow wall to protect the tents from possible high winds. During a previous expedition, a German climber was swept away while still in his tent and blown 1,000 feet down the mountain. Today, the wind is calm enough to move the camp around Windy Corner and up to the food and fuel cache. During every adventure, there are crucial days. On the West Buttress of Denali, rounding Windy Corner is such a day. It is the beginning of the upper reaches of the mountain. From here on, it will be much colder. The air will be thinner, rest stops will be more frequent, and each step will require more energy and concentration. The climbers become increasingly aware of their commitment to the climb, to the mountain, and to each other. Out of the wind, away from the steep slopes and the avalanche danger, Camp 4 is established at 14,200 feet. This is the last time the tents will be used. There are no safe campsites between here and the permanent ice cave at 17,200 feet. The climbers retire early to be rested for tomorrow's 3,000-foot ascent. Because of the cold, thin air, two climbers wake up with slight headaches. The weather has been unusually clear for several days, and it seems as though it won't hold much longer. Everyone feels that time is short. They decide to push for the ice cave in one trip, taking all they need with them for the next 4 days. Unneeded equipment and supplies are left behind in a tent, knowing that they could bivouac in 2 tents if necessary. With the added weight of the skis, the packs are the heaviest they have carried, but they will only carry them once. The awkward heavy loads give the climbers serious problems of balance. Using an ice axe in combination with an adjustable ski pole greatly helps to conserve energy and maintain balance. Steep slopes above the Bergschrund leading up to the col at 16,000 feet would normally require several belays, taking up valuable time. However, previous expeditions have fixed ropes on this section of the route, making it possible to reach the ice cave in one long day. Above the col, they encounter rock and wind-packed snow, but they continue to carry their skis with the prospect of better conditions higher up. seemingly endless hours of hard work take their toll. Bodies ache, tempers are short, and concern is growing about locating the ice cave. After 14 hours, they finally reach it at 11 p.m., and at last, the day's work is over. After yesterday's long, hard push, energy reserves are exhausted, and no one feels ready to try for the summit. A day to rest and adjust to the altitude is necessary before attempting the final 3,000 feet. Last night's welcome shelter becomes the waiting room for the summit attempt. It's 6 a.m. The sky is clear, and it looks as though the weather will hold. The decision to go is made. In the darkness, it is 40 below, and movement is their only source of warmth. Cold, almost numb feet turn walking into a stumble. Even wearing everything, it's hard to keep warm, and there won't be any sun until Denali Pass at 18,000 feet. Frequent stops are needed for rest. Breathing is painful, and each step requires more energy and more thought. The cold, thin air gives everyone a headache, making it difficult to concentrate. Coming through Denali Pass and into the sun, the wind picks up. It seems even colder. Rest stops are becoming more frequent, but it's difficult to stay warm when they stop. They must keep moving. The wind is blowing harder now, and the weather is beginning to deteriorate. Time is running out. Headaches are becoming more severe, and thinking is not clear. 3 climbers have signs of frostbite. One's glasses are iced over, and all are extremely fatigued. The last one marking the trail is disappearing into the storm. No summit anywhere is worth losing a life, not even worth losing a single finger or toe. At 20,000 feet, just a half a mile and 300 vertical feet from the summit, they decide to turn back. After a day's rest, they begin their ski descent from 15,000 feet to the base camp 8,000 feet below.
What we get from this is adventure and just sheer joy. And joy is, after all, the end of life.
The power to wake up young minds. Teachers have that power. Reach for it. We're recruiting young teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Airport, please. I've got a 9 a.m. flight.
No problem.
Good.
What airline?
Alaska.
Alaska. First time Alaska?
Yes, it is. But airline never take off on time.
First time Alaska.
When Alaska Airlines says a flight will leave at 9 a.m., we do our best to make sure it does.
I tell you, they never leave on time.
So usually the only time you'll have to wait for a plane is when you miss one.
What's the world coming to?
At Holland America Line, we never forget whose vacation it is. The joy of doing what you want. The art of going your own way. Come, discover them while you discover Alaska, aboard the ocean liners of Holland America Line.
Save up to $600 per couple when you book by January 31st. For details, see your travel agent.
What's the best brokerage account for an active investor? Ask a Schwab customer.
With my Schwab One asset management account, my money's never idle. When I sell a stock or I get a dividend, my cash instantly starts earning income. And it keeps on earning until I make my next investment.
When I need to get to my cash or take out a loan, I just use my Schwab Visa or write a check. Schwab One makes it easy.
All my financial moves are right here, and one simple statement. Now, you might expect to pay a lot of money for an account this handy, but not with Schwab One. There's no monthly fee. Now, that's real value.
To get your free booklet and an application for the Schwab One Asset Management Account, call toll-free 800-421-2900. That's 800-421-2900. Call now for your free Schwab One book.
Every day, the Discovery Channel takes you on a global adventure. To help plan your journey, the Discovery Channel presents TDC, the monthly program guide that takes you to places like Japan, a culture rich in tradition and beauty. Meet the artists of a different breed on the streets of New York. Explore the wilds of Africa and witness the power of nature. TDC fine-tunes your viewing experience on the Discovery Channel. It keeps you informed and up-to-date on every minute of programming. Let TDC become your guide and receive 12 monthly issues for only $11.95. Call 1-800-TDC-8343. That's 1-800-TDC-8343. Your ticket to adventure.
2020. On behalf of the Osquani, the tree people of Alaska. All around the Northwest now, feel the indigeneity enter your soul. Let it flow through you nice and slow as we take this cruise around town. KHX, loves. KHX. That's what we're here for. Much love to all of our Ha'ani. Our land gets the acknowledgement it deserves, and we come back.
the blue of the sea, the evening sky, the mountain lakes, and the flowers nearby, the gold of the early sorrow's dream, the precious gold of the hills and streams, the brilliant stars in the northern sky, the bear, the dipper, and shining by the great North Star with its steady light, o'er land and sea, a beacon bright, Alaska's flag to Alaskans dear, the simple flag of Alaska's frontier.
We're makers of